XYFM. The news.
In episode 12, you heard me say,
"But even when you found yourself a place mostly void of misandry, that absence of resentment will never amount to care, compassion, or consideration. That stuff remains reserved for the holy vagina."
I've lived in Thailand for a little while now and received so many random acts of kindness, from both sexes, mind you, that I no longer deem it morally justifiable to let my former utterance stand unchallenged. I have indeed received plenty of care, compassion, and consideration, despite my acute bereavement of vaginal prowess. Out here, I indeed qualify as human. Don't get too excited, because misandry, even when not practiced in your day-to-day, is still a truth of nature woven into the very fabric of the human animal. So I know that if
fecal matter
hits the fan and we revert to factory settings, they will prioritize women and girls just like the rest of them. But, vastly different from the
fecal matter
show we see in the West, these people use the part of our brains that makes the decisions whenever we're not busy fearing for our lives to choose kindness over worship. What color's your passport? America. Reese is now putting
the donkadongs
on cereal. You know, the flavored dirt that Section 8 LaQuisha and Trailer Park Stacy are feeding their children. What's next? A picture of Tony the Tiger sucking wee-wee. I wonder what their great might sound like with a wee-wee in your mouth. America. A female
can't say that on CommieTube.
Yes, that's what it's called. Not, that boy got lucky. Not, I wish my teacher was that hot. Female
still can't say that on CommieTube.
Has defended
unsolicitedly caressing
3 of the boys in her care by saying that one boy's grades had improved. She originally faced a range of 14 felony charges, including 5 counts of
unsolicited harassment,
which got reduced to, and I quote,
unsolicited and unsavory disregard of bodily autonomy,
involving 3 16 and 17-year-old boys. If you know what's the difference between the two, don't bother explaining it to me. It won't make this
fecal matter
any less disgusting. Another Fido getting off, no pun intended, because vagina. By the way, if you think I'm a bigger
person with highly questionable moral persuasions
for not whacking women than a woman who's whacking children, thinking of her doing so as a kindness, you're the biggest
person with highly questionable moral persuasions
of the lot. America.
A teacher who was impregnated by her 12-year-old student has been sentenced to 25 years in prison. The 12-year-old now has full custody of the baby. 39-year-old Alyssa McCommon is believed to have had as many as 21 victims between the ages of 12 and 17.
25 years, I don't believe it for a second. Kakada. Mariana Riosini, a 35-year-old Catholic school teacher formerly known as the cool teacher by her students, and I quote, in her class, kids could vape, use their cell phones, and hand in their assignments late, if at all. Has now upgraded to registered sex offender after
unsolicitedly caressing
multiple 15-year-old boys in her care. She was recently released after serving only one of her 5-year prison sentence because vagina. And still they wonder why people less prone to emotional decision-making are in no hurry to have children in this beautiful postmodern world of ours. It's a Scooby-Doo mystery. Spain. No, this is not another AI abomination. That's an actual abomination. A group of children dressed as a weird combo of Brazilian Samba performer and 1980s
working girl.
Quick history lesson. If you're thinking it's the gay mafia signing off on these things you can and cannot do at a pride parade, you'd be sorely mistaken. About 15 years ago, the grassroots non-profits these events originated from were either bought up or dissolved and replaced with for-profit event organizers. There is now not a single pride event taking place in any pile of buildings large enough to qualify for a city that isn't driven solely by profit, with nobody at the helm to care about the message the event is sending being moral, sane, or otherwise a graceful display. Because the bottom line is money. If you want to be particularly tinfoily about it, you could even argue that all these
people with an unsavory appreciation for juvenility
have been put there on purpose. Now here's the kicker. This isn't a pride parade. This is a regular Spanish carnival, or as it is referred to in my little corner of the sexuality spectrum, a straight event. Look at the crowd. You don't really see much exhilaration or approval on their faces, do you? The kids also don't look particularly comfortable. The only one here looking totally in her element is the Fido and feeding them sugary treats. If you really want to protect your children, stop worrying so feverishly about where two consenting adults in the privacy of their own lives, who never hurt anybody, may or may not stick their wee-wees. If you really want to protect your children, rein in your women. Good luck with that. America. During the aftermath of a wedding, by the way, my condolences to the groom, the guests in attendance started showing signs of discomfort, confusion, and panic. Turns out Bridezilla had laced the buffet with devil lettuce. She didn't just spike the punch, no pun intended. It was in everything, even the breadsticks. A few guests reacted so strongly they had to be rushed to the hospital for sedation. Not everybody can handle a sativa strain. It can turn some people
Stricken with acute dysphoria regarding their own existence.
within a few short hours. So just another example, and I'm sure I will never run out of those, of women and their utter disregard for the health, safety, and bodily autonomy of others. Because my body, my choice. Or whatever. Wake the
Quack.
up! Unless you're too baked right now, that is.
The term for sexually promiscuous female generally considered derogative.
Got arrested, but given what we know about judges being oh so desperate to let stupid gracious females get away with absolutely f***ing everything, I'm sure he made her a plea deal to let her run free if she were to share. Welcome to modernity.
Oh my god, that's like so negative.
So what? So what if it doesn't align with your worldview? That's like saying, I'm offended. Well, then be offended. Nothing happens. It's not my problem. I'm just pulling your leg, Cupcake. I actually found something for you this week.
Oh my god, that's like so
Yes?
kind of you.
Aw, well, tell that to the people who can't wrap their puny minds around the idea that I actually don't hate women.
XY News. Dose of positivity just for Cupcake.
Australia. A man in Sydney got one over on his ex by plastering her phone number around town, asking people to call and present their best Chewbacca impersonation.
Telling people to call up and impersonate Chewbacca for a chance to win $100.
This would be the most childish breakup I've ever had.
I won $500.
Apart from the fact that she too is a single mother of 3, I wonder why he left. It couldn't have been toothy.
Fellatio.
Could it? Probably America. A stupid slut trolley dolly got fired after shaking that ass twerking at work for clout. As it is tradition with entitled modern females, she started a GoFundMe campaign to have the Simp Army bail her out from the consequences of her main character syndrome, making a whoopin' $261. A big thank you to the Simp Army for skipping at least one obnoxious broad wanting to have everything for nothing. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome.
France. A French woman who left her husband and sent $850,000, or rather the euro equivalent, to a scammer who convinced her with AI-generated images that she's in a long-distance relationship with the actor Brad Pitt. Convinced she was funding his cancer treatment, she gave away her life savings and is now homeless. C'est la vie, madame. Every last one of us has at some point or another during the cusp of our manhood done something we now deem to have been unnecessary at least, and regrettable at most. But blimey, that
Term for sexually promiscuous female generally considered derogative.
is 53 years old and still displays the same level of delusion and desperation you'd expect from a 13-year-old girl. I wonder who she voted for. And that shall be enough gushy feel-good nonsense.
In the best interest of the court.
One day you will have to answer to the children of the sky.
One of my brothers at XY Crew drank himself to eternal slumber because he could not move past the pain of watching his 3 little princesses grow up to be yet 3 more modern women who despise him. Due to parental alienation, or to put it more bluntly, because their mother hates men. He moved on to whatever comes next without ever having laid eyes upon his grandchildren. If you're one of those silly little pseudo-alphas who thinks, my cupcake's different, I will protect my children, raise them right because I'm a real man. Good luck with that, because the system simply won't let you.
Wrap it the up.
Probably America. Some of us have been saying it's time to get the
Term for a multitude of sexually promiscuous females generally considered derogative.
back in the kitchen. Yeah, I don't know, have you considered the basement?
And yes, this is for real. I saw the video of the flat littered with their corpses. I won't show it to you because I'm not as cruel as this disgusting whore.
Gracious female. In case the subtle subtext of this episode has eluded you, let me make it a little less subtle for you. Being a man doesn't make you a
Term for a person with an unsavory appreciation for juvenility.
And in case your feminist indoctrination is so strong that this just went into one ear and unheard out the other,
let's try this one more time. Being a man doesn't make you a
Term for a person with an unsavory appreciation for juvenility.
Why would you even bring this up?
I keep forgetting how naive you are, Cupcake.
I'm trying to leave, please. In the bed with me. I'm trying to. I didn't say that. What's the Wi-Fi password? What's the Wi-Fi password, Joe? Do you really want me to call the cops for this?
Go for
Wi-Fi?
it. Go for it. What are they gonna do? They're gonna laugh at
You're
you.
an abusive narcissist.
I'm not doing anything.
Raped me.
I haven't done anything.
Yep, you've done everything.
I haven't done anything.
Probably touched my kids too.
I haven't done anything.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Please say that. Please say that.
What? You've probably touched my kids, and I need to protect them, and that's why we're getting out.
I remember the look on the mothers' faces, and I say mothers because we don't have parents in the West anymore. We have mothers.
and we only call them that by virtue of having squeezed one out,
not because their behavior makes them particularly deserving of the title.
Hence I call mine
my incubation box.
I remember the look on the mothers' faces back in
the old country,
whenever I would dare to exist in their general vicinity without their approval for any reason whatsoever.
I could never place their disapproving looks until the red pill found me.
By the end, I was terrified, walking past playgrounds knowing how trigger-happy these disgusting
gracious females
are with their lies and their never-ending gush of bogus threat narratives.
Now I am 42 years into this short and fleeting life of mine, and I have no clue how to interact with children.
Not because I don't like them,
or not like them,
but I was never trusted to interact with them because
I don't have
the donkadongs.
I know how to hold a baby because I saw it on TV.
Like most of the things that actually matter in life, I learned from other places than the school system.
But
I wouldn't know the first thing about keeping a 4-year-old entertained or to nurture and regulate their volatile emotional landscape
because I was never called upon to try.
Because I don't have
the donkadongs.
Oh, and by the way, in regards to the video I just showed you, they all know. Women know perfectly well that the laws favor them, that the cops will favor them, and that their lies will be believed and indulged because
you don't have
the donkadongs.
They know, and when the day comes, playing that card will serve them.
They will play it.
There's hardly a single divorce survivor on the XY crew whose crazy ex hasn't accused them at one point or another of having been unsavory around their own children whenever she started to lose ground in the court proceedings. And if you're still foolish enough to tell yourself that your cupcake is different, maybe getting railed up the tush by Pookie, Ray Ray, and Brutus from Cell Block BJ will be the only way to wake you the up. You know, spend some quality time with some actual
people with highly questionable moral persuasions.
So you bloody learn the difference.
When I first settled into my new life here in rural-ish Thailand, you know, far out enough to be safe and quiet,
and there being free-range chickens living down the road,
but close enough to the city that modern conveniences can be procured with relative ease, I noticed something I hadn't seen since the 80s.
Free-roaming children.
And with the shame for being male force-fed to me my whole life still lingering in my bones,
I wasn't sure what to make of it.
The first time a free-roaming child bumped into me in the gym, I thought,
oh, so this is how I die. as I was looking for their mother to start screaming and point the finger. Spoiler alert! It didn't happen. One day I was enjoying the aftermath of my workout in the pool as a bunch of kids joined me there with the intent to enjoy the pool alongside me. And I thought, now I have to excuse myself or I will be accused of some disgusting
Fecal matter.
That didn't happen. So like a deer in the headlights, I was waiting for one of the adults to come a-running and shoo me off. Spoiler alert, didn't happen. And then it hit me. The people here don't think of me as a
Term for a person with an unsavory appreciation for juvenility.
just because I don't have
The donkadongs.
It doesn't even occur to them. Almost as if the woke-pocalypse that ruined the West to the point where I saw no other option but to get out while I can never happened here. Probably because it didn't. Remember this one? A brother of mine from the XY crew is currently traveling through Southeast Asia, and on his very first flight within Southeast Asia, he was seated next to a 4 and a 6-year-old. An absolutely unthinkable occurrence in the West. And even as the 6-year-old was striking up a conversation at some point during the flight, still, no weird looks, no bickering, no whispers, no gossip, no threat narratives, nothing. The thought that there could be anything inherently wrong with them being seated next to each other, spoiler alert, because there isn't, didn't even occur to them. Is beginning to believe. Well, if you are beginning to believe and you are equally fed up with being looked at as guilty just because you don't have
The donkadongs.
get out while you can.
Channel 69 XY News.